Hello, and welcome to Ghostability with myself, Paranormal Mitch.
And Paranormal Teach.
We have a guest with us today. It is the creator and host of Dead Air Full Spectrum. It is George. How are you, George?
I'm doing well. How are you guys tonight?
We are great.
We're chilling.
So excited for this.
I'm ready. I am ready for this.
Yes. George, why don't you tell us a little bit about your backgrounds and how you got into the paranormal?
Well, first, I would like to say to you, Mitch, I'm sorry for looking into your eyes without asking permission.
That's okay.
Dang it, George.
Dang it.
I'm going to start a trend now in your chat. Everybody,
Thank you for that.
everybody in the comments, I'm sorry, Mitch. I'm sorry, Mitch.
Every single time.
They do apologize to us too. It's not just the dolls. There have been videos with no dolls in it, and they just see my face on the screen, and they're like, "We got to say sorry to that girl. She is."
I'm sorry.
Demon.
I'm sorry. I watched this interview.
Ah,
Yeah, it's not in the common aspect of what you have seen on just about every television show, and most of the people who do their YouTube channels about investigating. When I was a child, I had an experience, and that's how I got into this field. No, not at all for me at all until I was up and working in Daytona, from South Florida. That I got introduced to a wonderful town just about 45 minutes north from where I was living and working at the time. A place called St. Augustine. You might know it. We
I'm a bit
we got a
familiar.
chance, yeah, and we got a chance to go up and start by just a group of us that were curious because first time I visited there, and it's a beautiful, beautiful old city. The haunted tours were kind of a giveaway as to why it's so well known, and I started visiting there a lot. And this is about the same onset and the same time frame where the field was starting to grow. And so I got out there and started hitting the first of all the cemeteries with your basics: a digital camera, which I don't think even people can buy anymore. Everybody uses their phones, but a digital camera, a flashlight, and a digital recorder, going out there and just looking to capture EVPs and any type of photographic anomalies that we could pick up on. Funny enough, though, I did grow up in a haunted house, and we had a ghost, and we called him Henry, and things would happen. And oh, that's just Henry. It's kind of dismissive. It wasn't one of those, by that point in time in life, we weren't socially programmed by the horror films.
Right.
yeah.
So that
It's
every
just like,
bump
oh,
in the
that's the
night.
dude that lives here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
So
throwing
we
stuff
find
at-
ourselves kind of, dismissing it as just it's a spirit that lives in the house. So it never really was that kind of a, spark in my life to make me say this is what I want to pursue. It happened much, 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 much later in my life.
Interesting.
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
That it was just like a part of your life, and it was just something that it was just normal.
Yeah. I would say that's somewhat similar to me because I've not had any crazy experiences when I was younger. And then when I was in college, I lived in a house that had some stuff happen. And I was interested when I was younger, but not really until like the last couple of years, like
Yeah.
us really
Yeah.
like getting into it. Like I
Sorry.
had never like my first investigation was one that we did together.
Yeah, I'm a bad influence.
You're a bad influence.
The you. And George, something else. You're also an author.
I am. Yes.
Tell us about your book.
We it was just one of those things that it all kind of came together. Everyone knows who Andrea Perrin is. She's the eldest daughter of the family that actually went through the ordeal that became the franchise of films called The Conjuring. And we met through social media, Facebook. I reached out to her. Actually, truly, I reached out to Roger first, and he forwarded the information to Andrea. She and he both lived in Winter Garden, Florida, right close to Orlando. So about an hour and a half from me. And we started dialogue. And the next thing you know, we started lecturing together and touring together. We went all up and down the Eastern Seaboard to all these incredible paracons and events and talking about, investigations and talking about her experiences in the Conjuring House, of course, which everybody was curious about.
Yeah.
Um, and then one day on a road trip all the way down from New England back to Florida, I think just to stay awake because it's such a long drive. And I told her that I had a story that I've had in my head for 25 years. And I started explaining it to her. And by the time we got done, however many hours later on, she says, George, you have to make this a book. And I said, I don't know how to write a book. She said, I do. Just, you know, write the story down and then we'll shape it.
Kind of flesh it
Uh,
out.
which is what we wound up doing. And it became this story titled In a Flicker. And it is a fictitious story as to why Jack the Ripper was never caught. And by the way, the new
Love
stuff you've been seeing in the news, oh, the DNA proves it. We had that guy on. No, because it was about 3 years earlier that another author and another person that was looking for the identity said, we have the DNA, and they said it was a totally different person. So nobody still knows who Jack the Ripper was. But if you can get headlines, you know, that you can, because they have this scarf that belonged to one of the victims and
Sure.
had his DNA on it. You know, now you just raise the price next time you put that up for auction. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
but anyway, the book got raving reviews. You know, of course, never hits the #1 bestseller unless you are, you know, in the right place at the right time or the right person reads the book and promotes the heck out of it. And you know, but our reviews have been, you know, 5-star. Only a couple of 2-star, 1-star where they said I couldn't read it. It was too difficult. It was too difficult to read. The violence was too much for me, and I had to put it down. But for the others that could stomach it all the way through, blew their minds. So I'm
Wow.
proud of that.
Absolutely.
You should be. That's amazing.
That's
I
so
still need
cool.
to I need to read your book so bad. It's been on my list. I have to.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
I'll
been
send
telling
you
you
one.
to write a book for the longest
Oh
time.
yeah. I don't have the heart, but eventually I will. People keep nagging me about it. But I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't know how to write a book. Like I don't know.
Well, it's a little bit easier for you now because you have AI that can assist you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
For sure.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Let's get back to a little bit about some of your investigations you've had in the past. What do you think is the most memorable experience you've had during an investigation, and why did that certain experience stick with you?
Oof.
Sorry. It's a hard one.
We're starting off real strong.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that I don't really know how to define that in the sense of, you know, I've had experiences at a lot of different places. I've visited a lot of different places over the years. I've been to the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado on 3 different occasions, Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum on 3 occasions, Rolling Hills Asylum on 2 occasions, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Bobby Mackey's, Eastern State Penitentiary, um, Myrtle's Plantation,
So all the big
multiple.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've hit so many of those because again, it's the way that they've been promoted, the way that they have been sold on. It's, you know, it's the place with the activity, and it's really never been that way for me. The most uh, outstanding place for me to investigate wound up going to it 18 times, and that was a little ghost town in the middle of the Ocala National Forest here in Florida called Kerr City, Kerr.
Hmm.
You know, but a lot of people who went there wound up calling it Cursed City because of the activity that went on there, and that's where my night terrors originated from because of something stupid that I did at that location. So the most memorable, the most profound, the most impactful of all the locations I've ever been to has to be there. The most amazing evidence was at Rolling Hills Asylum, seeing a shadow crawler come out of a room
Wow.
as 6 or 8 of us were sitting in the hallway. It was an end of a Paracon weekend, and we're all down the end of the second floor hallway and staring down the hall. I'm sitting in a wheelchair as a trigger object, and we're just watching. And Sharon Coyle, the owner's behind me, saying, "Roy, touch George on the head." And maybe about 50 feet on the left hand side, one of the rooms, you see this. The only way I could describe the texture was void of color, a black thing crawling out on its arms as if its legs had been amputated, crawling out of the room. And as it got past about the waist, I got up and ran at it because remember, we're ghost hunters, not ghost runners. So
Correct.
I went at it, and again, God is my witness. That thing crawled backwards back into the room. By the time
Yeah.
I got to that room and I turned on the light or shine the light because there's no power there and looked around, I couldn't see anything disturbed, no sign of it. But to this day, I will always regret what's the one thing I didn't do when I ran into that room. I didn't look up,
Oh.
and they're
Yeah.
notorious for crawling on the ceiling. Um, but yeah, one of the other people that were in the hallway was frozen, saw the same thing I did, and only after I ran down there, then I ran down the stairs to see whether or not somebody was playing a prank. It's like I saw it and I couldn't move, is what the lady said that was with us. So that to me was one of the most profound experiences, short of the things that have personally happened to me from Curse City.
Wow.
So I have a question for you about Curse City because we're talking like theories and philosophical things today. So you mentioned that you started having like night terrors after going there. And I've had a similar experience after going to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery and where I started getting these nightmares. Do you think, and this is just like theoretically, do you believe that when people have experiences like that, night terrors and nightmares that come after a location investigation or even a haunted object investigation, do you believe that that is the spirit causing that? Or do you believe that it's some psychological effect to the energy we were exposed to or something else?
You, of course, know the most important three words in the paranormal, correct?
Which three? We got a lot of them.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And I don't know for me too. That's why I was asking you.
that's the mystery. I will tell you where I believe it originated, and I don't know whether or not you uh, came under the same uh, peril the way that I did, which was in the one building that we call the Father's house. There was a closet on the second floor that we were all convinced was the portal. It was the origin of everything happening.
Yeah.
And we would see shadows of these short things coming out of it. The sense that we would get during investigations, the EVPs that we would capture. So after a multitude of visits there, again, 14 visits in the first 7 years that we were going there, um, never really crossed that line. And then I did. And in the closet, which I had everybody that was there with me close the door, and I said the one thing you're not supposed to be saying, which is, show me where you come from.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the visuals, I don't want to describe. I don't want to remember. I don't want to think about. Uh, but it's akin to use my energy. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're taking that risk in with the unknown, and there was just this all of a sudden escalation of these attacks in my dreams. Now, up until then, and I don't know whether or not either of you have ever experienced um, nightmares. You wake up out of it and you just kind of process it. It was a bad dream.
Yep.
And then nightmares where in the middle of it, you feel the presence of something
Yes.
dark, something sinister.
That is
I
what
have
I experienced.
Yeah, and I have woken up saying the Lord's Prayer. I was saying it in my dream, and I woke up and I was saying it with my mouth. It was just an automatic response to protect myself. Catholic boy growing up, it's the first thing that you go to. And I mean, it was horrific, and it effed my mind because it played on my family, making this family member a villain, making this family member a villain, turning me against them in this nightmare. And it would happen over and over and over again. And that was the ultimate escalation. But the first introduction, and I don't know whether or not this will hit a nerve with you with what you've experienced. First experience in my room at the floor, two glowing red eyes. That was it. And the only thing that made me overcome that is to say, well, if you're evil, that means that there's the antithesis of that which is good or greater. So I'm not
Mhm.
worried, and it disappeared. Then it took me to my childhood when I was a boy living in South Florida in that bedroom, and the thing is playing cards, just the two hands, gray, long fingers, playing cards on my bed. No idea the symbolism behind that. And
That's
then the next one is when it started to get personal, tried to impersonate a family member, and I got so angry, grabbing that family member by the clothing and pushing it back on the bed. In the name of Jesus Christ, reveal yourself. And it gave a name, and it showed its real form. And it's tried and prodded and poked and tested my armor now for close to 10 years.
Mm.
But it's kind of waned a little bit in the sense of, I think every once in a while it just sends a minion. It sends, hey, go try him again, see if this will work. Go try the. They put me in situations where I was crushing the skull of a cat with a phone book rolled up, banging it over and over again. These are just unimaginable thoughts that prior to me saying that, prior to that statement, has never entered into my brain. And then it's just one after another. And, I was told because after the first three, where I was sleeping on the couch till sunrise, I had spoken to Andrea. I had spoken to Bishop James Long. I had spoken to John Zaffis. And sadly, they all said the same thing. It's not going to end, buddy. it's
Mm.
it's just something you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life because that's what they do,
yeah.
trying to break you down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we always talk about, attachments. I feel like the term attachment, I feel like, is so broad and it can be seen
Yes.
so many different ways and interpreted as so many things. But like to me, like that is how I would probably define it. My experience was a little bit different. I was in an Estes method session, and I have always, actually, this is a problem I have that I need to figure out how to not do what I do, but I trance out so hard in Estes method sessions. And this thing came on me. I felt myself like being touched and grabbed at. We had a medium with us who said that she saw like almost like something stepping into like my shadow kind of figure. And it was pretending to be a little kid, and which is my weakness. And it was presenting very similarly in dreams to Jeremiah, who's little teddy bear vessel over here. And because he shows up in dreams, and it almost looked just like him, but I could tell it was off. Like the eye color was wrong. And it was almost AI looking. Like it was like AI like made the wrong version of Jer. And so I could tell it wasn't right, but it kept showing up in my dreams and kept showing up in my dreams. And every single dream was, or it would be right as I was falling asleep. Every single dream would be trying to get me to go back to the cemetery.
Right.
Like, I need you, please come back. Like this kind of like sales pitch. What was crazy about the situation is my aunt is also an investigator, has been investigating for a bajillion years, and she was in town from California, and I told her this story, and she goes, please don't tell me you went to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And I was like, yeah, I did. Why? That's where it happened. And she goes, Taylor, I went there 40 years ago and I'm still having dreams about that place. And they're exactly the same. So for some reason, and I've gone there with 6, 7 different people now. Nobody else has had this happen, but I found it very interesting that it was another member of my family who had nearly the same exact experience 40 years before. So very interesting. I was able to shake it, but it was a nightmare. But I guess that's the risk we take, right?
Yeah.
There is risk involved in this, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, there's plenty of risk involved. That
Alright.
is for sure. Well, and we've heard from multiple people and even our spirits how important it is to make sure you have you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people just run into it, and our words are powerful, and
Very.
we sometimes we say the wrong thing and it lands us in a situation, and I feel like that's kind of I've done that a few times.
Yeah.
And you
No,
don't
I mean,
realize it later.
it's our intention, I believe, as investigators in this field, to try and not just gain evidence so we can post it on a social media, but find answers. We're
Mhm.
seeking
Right.
answers. And like anything else, I mean, you think about everyone that was working on the project to create the first bomb, atomic bomb, hydrogen bomb. They all took a lot of risk
Yeah.
trying to find answers, trying to find ways to make things work the way that they need to work. Right now, I always use this comparison. The paranormal field, in comparison to the medical field, we are still using leeches and doing
Yeah.
amputations
Yeah.
without
Way
any
behind.
type of pain removal. It's brutal. It's 14th century medicine,
Yeah.
and it's still going to be a long way because right now I think we've lost our way. A good portion of this field's lost its way. To get back on track and understand, though, when we do, what you did at Bachelor's Grove, what I did at Curse City, we knew the risks.
Right.
You know, we
Mhm.
may still regret what we've done because of what we had to deal with afterwards. And I know this sounds kind of weird. It's better us than somebody else.
Right.
Mhm.
And you know what? I'm glad it happened because I learned so much from that experience, and I've been able to teach so many people because there are so many people who are young, like young. I get 16, 17, 18-year-olds who have no idea what they're doing, and they want to run into these places and party. And I'm like, this is not it. Let me tell you about my experience I had, and maybe you'll rethink that. And to me, that's so valuable, right? It's like, I did it, so you don't have to, is always kind of how I've been. Is like everything I educate on the most are the things that I have screwed up the worst and learned my lesson from. And that's what it's about, too, is like the educational piece. So,
And it doesn't mean because you're one of those, again, content creators that are going out there and using the D word constantly, and we're
Mhm.
going to
yeah,
play with the Ouija board, and now we're going to go into the basement if you put this many likes on our channel, and there's no rhyme or reason that I at least have identified, or the people that I've known, the people we've interviewed has identified, as to who gets so lucky as to deal with this. Because in real life and in our day to day, you get what's coming to you. And if you get somebody who's going in doing this and you're like, I hope that they do get scratched. I hope you don't really say that because you want that to happen, because you know the torture behind it. But it's like you need to understand that if you are vulnerable to this, it's never going away.
right.
Yep.
Right.
But out of the tens of thousands of content creators out there, none of them deal with it. One or two might say, "Oh yeah, I'm dealing with it now." There's you'll know. You'll definitely know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was physically sick for weeks after that. I couldn't even like talk. Like I didn't have a voice. Like took everything out of me. And I wish more people would consider that as like these are really real physical effects that can happen. And depending on the person, it can ruin your life. Like not everybody can deal
Sure.
with night terrors and what you saw. And, not everybody realizes even that they're being manipulated. And we need to think more about that. It's not just about, did I get the video or not?
Yeah. Or even have the resources to be able to ask people like, hey, I'm experiencing this. Like,
Right.
what is happening?
Right.
Right. I think we're very fortunate that we have people to talk to.
Right.
But I mean, this is the minority.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Whew. Heavy stuff. Deep.
I'm glad we're
Deep.
talking about this
No,
though,
it's great.
because like
The whole
I
point.
so often focus on like the positive side, right? And I never want to give the wrong impression that like this is easy and this is like all fun. Like there's fun, like we have fun. Yeah, we do. And we have had amazing, beautiful conversations with spirits too. Don't get me wrong, but there's another side to it. And if you're looking for the beautiful, sometimes you're going to find the other side too, and you need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Let's transition a teeny bit. I think this is so interesting. Let's talk about how does a person's belief system shape what they are able or unable to perceive on an investigation?
Oh, boy, we got right into religion, didn't we?
Doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
No, it's the belief system, I think, is very, very important, but there are people who will take that and use it as a crutch rather than a ladder.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things. Let me fall back on this. When things are not going my way, then I'll pray, and eventually maybe things will get better. Or things are not going my way because I wasn't strong enough in belief, and it's just life. And when you're investigating, you're putting yourself out there. Um, it's that universal question people always ask, what do you do for protection before you go on an investigation? I've never done anything. And then there are people who, do everything, douse themselves with holy water and wear as many,
Yeah.
and they still have things happen to them. I am a firm believer in this. There are two types of energies that you can bring into investigation. You can either have an invertive type of energy, where you're receiving, receptive, bad, and projective. If you've got, whether it's your animals, your dolls, whether you have kids, whatever it may be, everyone understands the energy behind no. That kind of puts everybody in that stop position.
Mm.
No. And it's the same thing. I mean, I've talked to people at these other gatherings that we've had. Andrew and I were both at, I can't think of the name of it, May Stringer House in here in Florida. And there was a young man approached and said, "Yeah, I'm dealing with this thing that's constantly coming at me." And I pushed him. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Did you like that?" He said, "No." I said, "Then tell me to stop." The same approach you should be taking with these energies.
Mhm.
You
Totally
have
agree
to
with
stand
that.
your ground. If you're receptive to everything, guess what? It's not going to go away, and you are going to be a target. I've gotten a lot of hate mail about what I said. At least I've run Dead Air Full Spectrum, or Dead Air, for 18 years, and about 12 years ago, so I brought up the fact, talking to influential people in the field, that those who have given up their will in the past are subject to oppression, are subject to these attacks because it's receptive. When you're giving up with an addiction, you're receptive to any influence. So is it not only drug addiction or alcohol addiction? And the argument that I got back was, these people have enough on their plate. Now you're going to tell them also that they're susceptible? Yes. I'm just saying it opens it up based upon the people I've spoken to about this. And the unfortunate part that lumps into that total also is abuse.
Yeah.
whether it's
Mm.
physical, mental, sexual abuse. You have given up your free will, particularly if you are allowing that to continue. It's no different than the abuse you do to yourself. Somebody else doing the abuse puts you into that aspect of opening yourself up to these other things coming in. And I still am a firm believer on that. I go into a place with no worry, no care in the world, and no apprehension. I'm resident in the fact that I've got my own self, the best piece of equipment you can have in an investigation, and I have things to collect the data on, but it is the experience first and foremost, because again, we're trying to make that connection, we're trying to make that contact, and we're trying to find answers. But those who are open to influence, it's a very, very dangerous road to go down because, as you said too, there's some wonderful, pleasant spirits that you interact with. All it takes is one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also like why we always say like maybe like if you're not in a mentally stable place, like take a pause on investigating. Like you are more at risk if you are having issues with depression right now or anxiety or things like that. And I truly like I truly believe that, in the same way that like we pick up on spirits' energies, they pick up on our energy too. And if we are down, we are going to attract things that are down. And negative kind of latches to negative because more negative energy is like a feeding ground for these negative, entity spirits, whatever you want to call them. And so it's like, I think it's so important and it's a part of investigating. And I don't think it's talked about enough. Like, we have to not only be like in tune with spirits, but we have to be in tune with ourselves too. And like make sure that we are in a spot to go and do that today. And if we're not, like maybe wait until a different day because we don't want to be vulnerable to situations like that. And there's so many things that can go wrong. And I agree with you. Those kinds of spirits have a way of finding people that they can torment the most. People with trauma a lot is what I see is like that. It's like they know, they have a knowing about it where it's like, okay, you're somebody that I'm really going to be able to affect. You're not worth my time because you're not going to be bothered by me. And interestingly, when I had that issue, usually I go in really strong, but like that day I was irritated already going into the situation. Usually I'm not. I was irritated going into things. We had people there that were a bit nervous. I was feeling sick. I was getting over a cold and I got hit. And it's the only time it's ever happened. And in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, I shouldn't have gone that day. Like that just wasn't the day to go for me. Because I was open to it because I
You
was
didn't
vulnerable.
expect it. You didn't never expect it.
Right.
It
Mhm.
just
Especially because it was a location we had been at before.
Yeah.
But I think that's something else to note too is like, the energy can be different from one day to the next at these places too.
and the encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that
100%.
it is. I'm curious how many different questions Mitch has written down on that board.
I wrote them down. Mitchell's just reading them.
Oh, proceed. I am sorry.
You get my 4 a.m. musings over here. Sorry.
Well, we're 2 questions in. So
What
we've
did you
done great.
expect?
We've done great. No, we knew this was going to happen.
Yes,
We
exactly.
knew this was going to happen.
That's why we have people like George on.
I know. I'm trying to like cherry pick the ones I feel like give the best conversation.
It's all going to be good.
Well, I
So.
know, but it's stuff that I want to talk about. I think it's fun.
I
Go
want to talk
for it.
about.
Yeah.
What does
obviously.
Mitch want to know?
What do you want to know, Mitch?
I don't know yet. That's where we're going to find. Okay. Next question. Ooh, I like this one. How do you reconcile the tension between being open-minded and being skeptical, especially when I feel like you need both to be
A good
a good investigator? Yeah.
We have to be skeptical of our own experiences too.
Well, yeah, being open-minded is simply a requirement of this field in the sense of exploration. Being skeptical has to be a process. That's the difference between the two. If you say I'm a believer, well, prove it. I'm believing.
Yeah.
I'm a skeptic, prove it. Well, here's what I think. This is what's causing A, B, C, and D. But as a believer, well, you're talking about this no different than religious faith. I believe in God, prove it. He look at the world around us. That's all God. It doesn't validate it. Now, I believe that there is no God. Prove it. Well, from what we can see from science, here's how the sun works. Here's how the universe works. Here's how the human body works. So, but you're in, that's broad spectrum. But within the field of the paranormal, you have to go in not with just primrose glasses on and everything. I saw this bottle of water has sparkle in it. It must be ghosts. This
Yeah.
is the way that people will go into places and just everything. There was a small, very small window of time with the social media where everybody walked into a house and went, "Do you feel the heaviness? Do you feel the tightness? My
It
goodness."
must be haunted.
And it's like, go in and gather evidence first.
Yes.
Is the barometric pressure changing? Is the temperature changing? What is the ventilation like in that room? Is there a history of people experiencing the same thing? You kind of have to go down the list and not just buy into it hook, line, and sinker. Because again, if you want to, wait till October, go to haunted houses, have fun with that scare experience. But if you want to contribute to this field, ask questions down to minutia. Look at everything and say, I don't understand how this is happening. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to call it ghosts. I'm not going to call it spirit phenomena. I'm going to call it unsolvable.
Hmm.
By the aspects of today's uh, mathematics and today's physics, this shouldn't happen. And it did.
Right.
So I leave that into that, supernatural category because I can't explain it otherwise. Don't get me wrong. Every single one of us who investigate and we have experience, we get jittery. We're not jittery, but we get kind of joyful.
Yeah.
We get
You get
that feeling,
excited.
yeah, that contact may happen and you'd be like, what? Give it a few minutes and then you'd be like going, I hope it happens again. I want it
Yes.
to
Yeah.
happen again. That's just the nature of the beast and what it is that we do because it is otherworldly. It is unexplainable phenomena that we're seeking, we're searching for. And the most important thing that we still cannot achieve, with the exception of a few, is that repetitive response.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How often do we say, do it again, and it does it again? You know, it's
Yeah.
like spirit
I can
box
count
sessions
on
that
one hand.
Yeah.
the spirit box sessions that I used to do years ago, we called it a summer of spirit boxes, and we did so many of them. And that's where I introduced, at least I thought, to the field. I was the only one that was doing repetitive responses and trigger words. And, anybody and everybody that I worked with said that they adopted this and how well it works for them. I'll give you a perfect example. You pick a word from the English language or any other language. And when you're going across those bandwidths using whatever device you're using, and ask them to say the word, as an example, Godzilla. And because you don't want a monosyllabic word, you don't want a one syllable word
Right.
because
Hmm.
you're going to, but if you
Yeah.
say Godzilla, and not only do you get it, but you say, I need you to repeat it over this next scan at least 2 or 3 more times. Over the next 60 seconds, I need to hear it 2 or 3 more times. I need to hear Godzilla. And then you hear it. I can't explain that.
Right.
Hmm.
I can't explain it. Not pareidolia, not you're willing it to happen, and maybe that is part of it. I'm willing it to happen, and it's projecting onto the radio frequencies, but that's a stretch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a stretch.
That's tough.
I wish we could do experiments like that in our house. What we get is we say Godzilla and we get idiot back. So
Yeah.
maybe one day we'll find somebody who's more cooperative. But
Yeah.
to
Can we
date,
pick
we
one
just
out here who's going to work with us?
Yeah, well, it's tough.
They have their own free will, and usually their free will is some swear word. So
Well, it's kind of my favorite though when I try and like steer things a certain way and they just completely veer separate than what I'm trying to say.
it's entertaining, but it's not good for
I don't know
study.
because I think it's kind of nice because I feel like if it was very anticipated, it was like this, like okay, that's great. But if it's like, oh, tell me about this, and they're like, no, I want to tell you about this, you're like, oh, okay, like it's completely separate than what was anticipated. I think that's also really great sometimes though.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to be able to be open to what's being said, but you also have to like be able to understand that not everything is exactly how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I like when that happens.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You
try
know?
that though. That's really interesting.
Take
That's
away the
really
fact
interesting.
also, if you guys have not done so, that you're scanning across AM or FM frequencies, which are regulated by the. Uh, now I'm drawing a blanket. So many things. I started to get past my bedtime. The FAA.
Me too.
But you talking about hearing curse words, you're not supposed to be
You
able to hear.
can't say that on the radio. I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So take that as a W.
All right.
We get it all the time.
Yeah.
FCC, not FAA. That's a the FCC does not allow
I never
cursing
thought
on
about
those
that.
frequencies. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, I get a lot of those.
Oh
So
yeah.
take that as you
FAA.
will.
We get plenty.
And I had
My
coffee just before.
my swear words are evidence of the paranormal because it's not on the radio. God. My life. Okay. Anyway, carry on.
Well, I think I
So-
want to go back a little bit to like the being able to understand certain things that are happening. I know I had a really hard time because the spirits like to talk to me in my head, which is something that you don't get a lot of.
No, I don't.
And I remember I had a really hard time justifying, like, how do I know whether this is me or other things projecting it in my brain? And I remember I talked to our friend Emerald, and she said there has to be a little bit of belief that you're getting something that's not you. Because I could justify everything that's me, right? Because it's thoughts in my head. But she explained it to me where it's almost like it's a radio signal that you're able to like tune into. Like you may be hearing it, but unless you can translate it and interpret it, that's what's happening. And I always thought that was super interesting. And I feel like that's a lot of times on investigations. Like you have to understand that 95% of what we find can be explained.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit, like things in our head, right? Because George, why don't you tell us about your remote viewing experiences and experiments that you've done? Because those are fascinating.
Those are cool.
And you guys did that at my house, and I was wowed. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, first, I think it would be interesting whether or not you're free to do this when comes, or I think it's the beginning of December. We are doing a remote view to Key West in
Yeah,
our Patreon town hall, where everyone's going to get an opportunity to remote view to where Robert the Doll resides.
I'll be there.
Um, and a good portion of this is the same thing that you're talking about, Mitch. And we started off years ago with experiments regarding the collective consciousness. And I would get groups of people at these haunted locations in person, mind you, at the time, to start with. Eventually, I was able to do it through the screen with friends of mine, Terry and Tracy, who were going to all the Hinsdale House and all these other different haunted locations, and then would have the video through Facebook and have me join them, and I would call them on the phone while I would see them on their Facebook Live and walk them through a collective consciousness. And all that simply was doing was a meditative breathing state to get them all in sync with each other, and then have them start to focus in on the spirits entering the room, have them focus in on the look of the spirits, have them focus in on the energy of the spirits, and then communicate with your mind's eye, not speaking aloud, having an introduction and dialogue with those spirits. And then once you are done, and asking them to tell you their story. I want everybody to come back out of this state and now tell me what you experienced. And you'd have five, six, seven people all in unison saying they had the same conversation with the spirit.
Hmm.
And more physically important is that when I tell them, open your eyes from that state, now I formed a kind of energy pool when you guys were in there. Which way did the energy come in? And on the count of three, point. And 85 to 90% of them would point in the same direction consistently every time. So there is a connection there. What you're dealing with, Mitch, is certainly a connection there also. How do you differentiate between the two? By doing exactly that. Asking them things that there's no way that your imagination would know.
Hmm.
So even if it's something that is in close proximity, one of the dolls are talking to you in your head, okay, because they're, as we've talked about before also, Teach, it's not really the doll possessed by spirit, but
Correct.
the doll connected to spirit. So there's
Hmm.
no reason why, Mitch, you can't say, oh, Tej is up in the, in the office or she's down in the kitchen. What is she holding in her hand right now? And then see if you get that message. Just the simplicity of basic communication, not going into unlock the secrets of the universe for me. What's Tej doing down in the kitchen? Write it down, write down the time, and then ask when she comes back up. Be surprised the accuracy of what they give to you.
Let's do it.
Right?
I'm like, I want to do that right now. Thank
I
you.
know. I'm gonna have to go. I didn't go to the last one, the remote viewing event.
Yeah, you
well,
gotta
well,
come.
because it was about our house.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna watch, but I really want to do this one.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy. Okay. Oh man.
Poor Mitch.
we've touched
Mitch has
on-
to ask all the
we've touched on
questions.
so many things. I'm like, oh
This is
boy.
such a good conversation. I'm having so much fun.
Ooh, this is an interesting question. Okay. What do you believe motivates a spirit to make itself known? And what does that say about its relationship with us?
Uh, uh, Tim Shaw was just on with us last Sunday on the channel, and we kind of got into that discussion also because those variables are just so distinctive and so unique, and yet there's so many of them. There's so
Mhm.
many variables in regards to this. What happens after we die? Do we move on? And then people will say, well, I know that right after my aunt died, or my friend, or my cousin, they showed up at my home in the spirit to tell me everything's fine, go on with your life, don't grieve about me. And then the ones that are stuck here, is it purgatory? We talk about the fact of the turn of the century Christians at the early 1900s, the late 1800s, who are still here. The woman in white, the man in the military uniform, the little boy, who are still here. And are they stuck here because they don't want to face judgment because it was so ingrained in their religion? If you commit a sin, you will be judged for your sins and you could go to hell. Well, suicide, it's a sin. Murder in the military, it's a sin. For a little boy, theft, stealing something from the local store or from your neighbor, it's a sin. So if it is really entrenched in their belief system while they were alive, crossing over could give them that thought process of, I don't want to be judged. I'm just going to stay here. Missing loved ones, same thing. If the soldier died on the battlefield and the wife died of cholera and she's still waiting for him to come home, when he may have already moved on. Why do they make contact in each and every one of those circumstances? It comes down to as simple an aspect of, why do you find the friends that you find? Why do you find the
Right.
enemies that you find? Why do you find the coworkers that you find? It does come down a lot of it to free will, but the circumstances and the conditions behind it really, it's what's still boggling our mind here in the field. We're still trying to figure out, why is it that we can see full body apparition for a split second, but can't see it consistently. Why
Yes.
is it
Mm.
that we can hear a
Faint
disembodied
voices.
voice, but we can't? I mean, all these variables behind it. And again, in a lot of my, let's put it to you this way: at this point in time, in my time in this field, it's no longer conversations; it's arguments because I'm pissed because we haven't advanced in over 3 decades.
Yeah.
We haven't moved forward whatsoever. And one of the things I kept getting into the fact of is at least with a residual spirit, you might have the predictability behind that, whether it's on the Gettysburg battlefield or an old home where they see the woman in white. She keeps coming down the stairs. Savannah has a beautiful place there, Sorrel Weed House, where they talk about seeing the maid, the mistress rather, who's always there. St. Augustine Lighthouse, the Sorrel Weed House. All of these different places have a residual context to it. Work on that first and try to build on that. Is it the weather? Is it the time of the day? Is it the people that are there at the time? Is it the building? It's what is creating that residual effect, and how can we duplicate that? And I think that will unlock the door to getting to intelligent spirits and being able to have a consistent communication with them. We're just falling very short of that still in this field.
Yeah.
So my follow-up question to that is, well, because I had prepared 2 questions, but you kind of just started getting into it. In what ways do you think the field has advanced? And because you said it hasn't, why do you think that is? What is holding us back from going to the next step?
Uh, Two things. Number one, we are just above the level of a dog with a squirrel kind of a thing
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
because oh, this device came out. Oh, that device came out. Oh, this horror film came out. Oh, I'm going to the convention and oh, I can't free drinks. Oh, we're going to meet the celebrities, and there's just so many distractions out there in the field and new toys to play with that this one almost always works when we throw this one out there. This teddy bear lights up, and this is always working for. But we're not compounding the evidence. One of the biggest things that drives me crazy. The bear lit up, great. It's even when I've done spirit box sessions, and you're hearing, Godzilla or whatever this clear response is. Okay, can you do something away from that validates that you're here? That's when you compound your evidence to more so validate. And we've talked about this before. We talked about this with Tim as well. When people send in pictures and they say there's an orb picture and it's my grandma, just a still picture of an orb. And I'm not being dismissive of orbs by no means. I have seen things with orbs that I cannot explain. But what I'm saying is start there, don't end there. I'll
Yeah.
give you a perfect example of it. The orb is going across the screen. Can you go back the other way? That denotes intelligence.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you come towards the camera? That denotes intelligence. Now, if you're getting that kind of response off of it, and I'm not talking about a video camera, it could be 3 shots.
Yeah.
Take a shot here, go back this way. Take a shot here, come towards me. Take a shot here. Thank you very, very much. Can we now try and capture your voice if I run a recorder? Can you move around the room and perhaps make a knocking sound or knock something over? Uh, we would just love to hear that communication from you. That's building up that number one, the evidence level, but it's also building the dialogue with that spirit, something that we are horribly missing. And somebody says, I just got touched on my head. I have a bald head. You feel these things on your head sometimes. You have no idea what it is. It's not spirit. And if it is, when it happens and you go, can you do it again? And it doesn't happen, what's the point of it anyway?
Mm-hmm.
If you can do it again, if repetitious response gives us validation, that's what we're out there to do. Nobody does that. I felt that on my head. Let's run out of the building because it must be a demon.
Yeah.
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 I,
My pet peeve.
Yeah.
I
So-
love equipment. Something I notice is people are using this equipment to make a video, but they don't even know what they're measuring. They're just running equipment. It's like, okay, what are you looking at? What is that for? What does that device do? They don't even know what their own device does. And like it's like almost like using it as a toy. It's like this is like a ghost toy. And we have to know what we're measuring, why we're measuring it. And if you don't know what your device does, you don't know how to know if your device is being even skewed by something else in the environment, right? So
Right.
we have to know what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're not just like playing, otherwise we'll get nowhere. The other thing I think that is holding us back is the phones. All of these things moving to all of these entertainment apps being used as investigative tools, I think are hindering us so much. And it's so disappointing because it's to me, it's very apparent how they're just spewing the same thing. And if you watch tons and tons and tons of videos of people doing it, you'll see people having the same exact conversation with the same responses coming out of these phones, but people don't compare and contrast. And those phone apps are being used as the end all be all. And I think that is setting a lot of things back, especially when we have AI. Look at what AI can do. AI can have a conversation with you. Why couldn't they do that on an app? So there's that too.
Yeah.
Number one, you said that people have these devices that they don't even know how it works. How do you think the spirits feel from the
Right.
19th century? How do you think they
Right.
feel?
Oh my
Right.
gosh. We have well, we have multiple spirits from that long ago, but we have one spirit who's actually down here. She hates technology.
Yeah, she does. She
She's like,
hates it. She's scared
I
of
don't
it.
want to use it.
It's
I don't
scary.
like it. And she's told us that, like on the spirit box, she's
It's
very quiet,
scary.
very shy.
Yeah.
But like I'll do automatic writing with her and she'll talk to me for an hour straight.
Yeah.
But it totally makes sense. Like I know when we talked to Christy, we talked about this in a previous podcast episode. I wonder sometimes how much they understand what they're doing as well from our perspective. Like we said, well, how can you tell sometimes when something is going to go through in the spirit box? She's like, we have no idea. They might be guessing as much as we are.
Well, with her, we've had abort situations with her where like stuff has like poofed out of the house kind of stuff or poofed into the house. And we're like, how did you do that? And she's like, I don't know.
I don't know. It just happened.
And we're like, okay.
So
like they don't always know either.
So sometimes I wonder if it's just like this magical perfect storm of like random event on this side, random event on that side, and it just happens to coincide. And that's so rare and it's so hard to find that it's just this, golden thing that very rarely happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to why I think we're being held back, though, I think another thing, kind of piggybacking off what you said about the phones, I think if because I know we've been a little guilty of this too. If you go somewhere, the goal is to find something that's showy, right? You want to see the picture fall off the wall. You want to see the shadow person walk across. I think most of the time things that happen, at least from my perspective, are not
it's
that.
not that.
Right? It's I know you mentioned it earlier, like we are the best instruments. And you can't explain you can't show someone, you can't explain their feeling. You can't show someone the feeling, right? You can feel it, you can talk about it,
You'll never capture it on video.
but you'll never capture it on video.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that's tough, is this desire to get this more and more and more and more crazier things that are happening. I think it's
instead of really diving into the things that are happening that are small.
It's the small accumulation of things. It's the baby steps. You can't leap, to go from A to Z. You got to inch your way forward. I think that's boring, which is why it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to watch a video where we're sitting in a cemetery in the grass for 8 hours straight doing nothing, but that's how a lot of it is.
That's how a lot of it is.
That's why our videos are 30 minutes, we pull the 30 minutes of stuff that happened. The rest of it, we just sat there.
Yeah, we just sat there.
So,
Yeah, but if you had, I'll give you a scenario here, what I'm talking about, mostly what we're missing with this. If you had two roads to go down, the first road is that you get this unbelievably unmistakable piece of hard evidence of a door slamming or a book being pushed off the shelf, but it's right there, it's concrete, it's undeniable, and you post it on social media, or you find a quiet, personal, consistent connection with spirit that you can feel time and time again, whether it's a contact, a physical contact, a touch, uh, a warmth at some point in time on your chest, by your heart, whatever it may be. Um, that, again, to me, is what we're missing. That's why, with the collective consciousness or the remote viewing, I think it's so incredibly it's important, and it's personal. Two
Yeah.
things that we're stepping away from. The phones will cover it, and the this meter and that meter. No, that's great. And especially if you're doing social media, you need to be entertaining. You have to be entertaining. But for what your personal, I've always said this the many times that I've talked to people who say that they're skeptical, and I said, well, you are until you have an experience,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sure,
and
which is you're
that
supposed to be.
changes. Yeah, that'll change you right there. That
Yeah.
that that physical contact will wake you up very quickly.
Only takes one time.
And as
Yeah,
investigators, I think sometimes we take it as like our job and our responsibility to prove to people this is real. No, it's not. You
never
know,
will.
our job is to document what we find. And skeptics are either going to be skeptical or they're going to have an experience and they're going to change their mind. Like I always say, like, someone being skeptical isn't a personal attack on you. You know, just because they don't believe, it doesn't mean you're not a good investigator. It doesn't mean that you don't have killer evidence. It just, that's their journey, and we're all on our own journey. And everybody is at different levels of beliefs, and that's okay. And it's not the investigator's problem or responsibility to manage everyone's feelings about evidence. We deal with it.
Yeah. People have to come to their own conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at it this way. 10 people could look at your social media posts. 10 people could watch our podcast on a Sunday. 9 of them go, I don't believe in any of this crap. If you can get that one
Mm-hmm.
on board that says, I'm curious and I want to find out more, God willing, somewhere along the way, it's that person that elevates us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You did your job.
That's what we're hoping for. The other 10, or the other 9 rather, can, live in their private little bubble, go for it. But the minute that we're able to make that connection to such a degree, and again, I don't want to unlock the secrets of the universe. I think I kind of need that unknown in my life for the next life. So I don't need to know what happens after we die, or heaven or hell. I don't want to go down that road. I want to talk to my mom. I
Yeah.
want to talk to my
Yeah.
brother. I want to talk to my friend Amanda. How you doing? I'm fine. Okay, just okay. Would it not be just so magical to have that connection? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
incredible 10, 15 years that you can go to their cemetery and their headstone has a device in there that you can press and be able to communicate back and forth with them? Or that they can come to you at any time in your own home, or you can connect through your mind in a remote view and be able to talk to that family member.
I
What's the
would love
value on
that.
something like that? That's where the value really lies in this field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's not all the show. It's a lot deeper than that. And I think that that is a beautiful way to say that.
Yeah.
We need it.
We
Yeah.
are over an hour, so that might be a nice place to end on.
Probably. I think that was like a killer final message right there.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think that
amazing.
was a really nice final message.
I was like, perfect.
Deep,
George,
man, really deep.
Deep.
that was like heavy. Like I was like, that felt like 5 minutes. I was in the zone.
I gotta breathe.
George, you were the best. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much.
being here. You were
I loved it.
amazing.
I loved it anytime. And you guys are really fantastic too. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys sometime here in the future, whether it is in
Yes.
Florida or if I ever spread my wings again and able to travel up by you guys.
Heck yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
Well, on that note, now everybody gets to watch the Dead Air Full Spectrum commercial that
Yay!
plays during the break in our episode. So now that you've talked to George, you can watch what George does for the next minute before we go into our next Spirit of the Week,
Yes.
which was another crazy interview. So
Brace yourself. Brace yourself.
brace yourself for really good Dead Air Full Spectrum music. I love it. And I dance on this break every single time. So on that note, thank you so much, George.
Thank you,
and
George.
I will talk to you very soon, I am sure, my friend.
All right. Be well. Thank you, guys.
See you
Thank
soon after our commercial break.
I was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, but there's logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas.
Hello and welcome back from our short commercial break. We have our Spirit of the Week with us.
It's Rachel.
Rachel.
Now that I'm all hyped up from that conversation with George and George's music right after,
I know
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Taylor, why don't you tell us a little bit about how Rachel ended up here?
Rachel is very special to me. I love Rachel. I'm going to say this right now. Rachel is one of the most underrated spirits in our house by a long shot. Like, I wish people noticed her more because she is flippin' awesome.
She's awesome.
She has a great sense of humor. She has
witty.
great explanations for things.
Yes.
She's super intelligent. Her
Very-
experience
very mature for her age.
her experience is great. Like, she's just the best. But how Rachel got here, so we have a spirit named Cheryl who's behind me. You can't really see her from here, but Cheryl we got, and she has a lot of trauma and is very, very shy. She is, I mean, we've had her for a long, long time now, and she's very different now than she was when she got here. But when she got here, she was terrified of us.
She was very scared.
She was scared of us. She was scared of the spirits in our house. She was scared of everything. And we had a conversation with Cheryl of like, how can we make you more comfortable in our home? Like, we know you're struggling. How can we make this better? She also has a lot of stuff with like memory where like her memories are missing, and she's like trying to like figure out her own situation. She would be very confused. I would see her walking through the house just kind of like aimlessly confused.
Well, and this is also a time where we had very few spirits. We did
That
not
in that
have.
age range.
We
Yeah.
had no spirits that were in that age
Yeah,
range.
she was
with
an
her.
OG.
Yes.
And we were like, how can we make you more comfortable here? Like, we'll do anything, please. And she was like, I think it would be really great if my friend Rachel could come live here. And I'm like, you know, when spirits say stuff like that, that always puts us in a hard spot because we're like, that's great, but how are we going to find them? Who is that? And how do we find them? Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's try the easiest route to finding this alleged Rachel. And I'm just going to go on the seller site that Cheryl came from and see if there's a Rachel on there. Fortunately, in this case, there was a Rachel on there. And all we had to do was show Cheryl a picture and say, is this the Rachel? And she was like, yes. We were like, great. We brought Rachel home. You know, we ordered her right then and there on the spot, and she got here. And Rachel being here helped Cheryl so much. She's also taught us a lot. She was our first haunted doll that had that haunted location first and then got a
Yes.
vessel.
Which is very interesting
So-
from their perspective.
Yeah. So, and she's very willing to talk about it, and she's very aware. And so that's helped us understand that process a lot of like, how do they get a vessel? Because Rachel was actually haunting her apartment building first. And of course, people are calling in demonologists, and, you know, because their cabinets are slamming and they're thinking they have a demon in their house, and it's just Rachel chilling out in her apartment. But the apartment was going, and it you know, it shows you how these spirits kind of like think about their circumstances and like how things work. So the apartment building was really trash, and so it was set to be demolished. Rachel catches wind of this and she panics because, you know, when you no longer have a physical body, I think it's very confusing, and you're so used to your whole life having a physical body, so you think in that regard. So she thinks they're going to knock down this apartment building and I'm going to be destroyed.
Essentially cease to exist.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people had moved out, and it was empty at this point, but, you know, people had left stuff behind. And one of the things that was left behind was this Alice in Wonderland doll. And so when she got here, her vessel was actually an Alice in Wonderland outfit and the whole thing. And she eventually was like, I'm not a kid. She's a young adult. She's like, I'm not a kid. I don't want a kid vessel. I want a party dress. And so now she's a party dress.
Yeah.
But
Which she picked out, by the way.
yeah, she did pick it out. It was awesome. And so Rachel's taught us a lot about that process and what that looks like and the mindset that goes into that. And so, yeah, she's been awesome to have here. She is tricky. She is funny. She keeps us guessing. She's done some really strange things that we'll talk about in her interview, but
Yes.
she has been a joy to have here.
I think she was also as well, when we got her, she's a very talented communicator.
Yes. Very skilled.
Which was something, I mean, we had some spirits that were good on the spirit box, but I think when we got
She's
her,
excellent.
she's very good. And like to the point where I think you said you can even like hear her accent.
I can hear her accent. Yeah. So she's from the UK, and that's something I've always found very interesting. You know, George was talking about earlier how like it's crazy that swear words will come through the spirit box because you're not allowed to say those swear words on the radio. And obviously we're tuning into radio frequencies. Well, we're in the United States, so it's very unusual to have, you know, heavy accents. As heavy as Rachel's is, she has a very heavy English accent, and she talks almost consistently with that accent the entire session.
Yeah.
And that's not what is on
The radio.
American radio.
Well, American radio. Yeah.
So, yeah, she's
Cool.
fascinating. I love her.
Cool. Love it.
Her interview was very long. I want everybody to know Rachel has set the new record. Rachel is the new record holder for receiving the most viewer submitted questions for her Spirit of the Week interview. So buckle up for that.
Buckle up. We'll run through these. I know this episode's running long, so we'll go through these.
Yeah.
So a reminder of how this works. So prior to this, we do a spirit box session with Rachel. I ask her some of the viewer submitted questions, and I write down her answers word for word. I do not change it. I do not paraphrase it. This is exactly her responses. If you want to see that, you can
On my TikTok subscription.
go over to your TikTok subscription. You looked at me like you were so scared. For
I
a
don't know
quick
why. I
second.
just wasn't expecting you to ask me something, and then you did, and I was like, I have to answer that.
I feel like normally I throw it to you.
It's on my TikTok subscription. Sorry.
Okay, so we started the spirit box session, and I said, "Hi, Rachel. How are you?" She said, "Something is very funny. I'm distracted." And I was like,
Off to a
"Rachel,
great
why are
start."
you distracted?" She then went on to talk about a TV show, 2 TV shows actually that we're watching, and then she was like, "Oh, I love those shows. It's great. If you want specifics, you can go see that."
Yeah.
We're not going to do that here. So, first question is from Kim. Shout out, Kim. Who is someone that you thought you wouldn't get along with at first and that changed your perspective? This one was a wild answer. Rachel said, "Honestly, I like CL.
Right, Rachel? Right?
He seems angry, but it's funny now.
Right.
It's not a problem.
Yes.
I'm used to him. I make fun of him." And then he yells, "Rachel, would you shut up? It's fun."
Now you see why I love me and Rachel are always on the same page. I
Same
agree.
page.
People get them wrong, Rachel. I get it.
I just think it's funny how you have, CL as this very ethereal, strong spirit, and Rachel's like, I make fun of him. I gotta bring him down to earth
I
a
do
little
too
bit.
sometimes. I mean, you have to.
So funny.
He likes those people that do that the most, though. You have to push, but you have to also know when to not.
Oh, everyone knows this. The person that, like, to get their respect, you have to kind of like give it to them a little bit.
Yeah,
because they're gonna give it to you, and you got to give it back to earn the respect.
Otherwise, he thinks you're like weak sauce.
Exactly.
And then he'll just ruin your life.
That's what he thinks about me.
Well, that got awkward really quickly. Anyway, continue, Mitchell. What's the next question?
Kidding. Next question's from Kim. What is your favorite memory since being with Tejas Crew? And Rachel said, I am happy all the time because my problems are understood and not triggering to those guys.
There's a little bit of a backstory to that. So Rachel was an addict and she passed as a result of her addiction. She passed from an overdose. And where she came from, I think Rachel and that individual didn't always see eye to eye, and I understand why, because the person who had her is in recovery and has been sober for a very, very long time. And Rachel still talks about those topics, and I think that it was very triggering for that individual. So Rachel's bio, of all the bios of any spirit we have, Rachel's bio was the shortest.
Yeah.
And it really didn't give any information other than the addiction part, and the stuff she says can be very triggering. And I think it was really hard on both of them, because obviously she doesn't want to trigger, but then the person is like, I want to understand her, but this is also really, really hard to hear. And so I think there was like a mismatch there. But we are very understanding and open-minded about that. And it's not a triggering topic. And if she needs to talk about it, she can. And that works for us. So
yeah. I think she also has a lot of spirits here that maybe have been through similar things. And I think that's a very positive when things that may seem scary, you have other people that can understand some of what you've been through.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it would be very beneficial.
Yeah.
Next question is also from Kim. They ask, if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? Rachel said, outgoing, secretive, and honest.
That tracks. Rachel don't
100%
snitch.
tracks.
Rachel don't snitch.
No, absolutely not. Next question is also from Kim. They ask, best advice you have for a spirit keeper? And Rachel said, be a good friend. It's not hard. There you go. I think we've heard multiple times from different spirits.
It's the relationship.
It's the relationship that's really, really huge. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be spirit box every single day. It doesn't have to be these, offerings every single day. It doesn't have to be that. But like, include them a little bit. Talk to them a little bit.
Watch her TV shows with them.
Show with them.
Rachel loves that, apparently.
Yeah. Say good morning, right? It's simple stuff like that.
Just
it
showing
doesn't
you care.
have to be super crazy. Just small things go a long way. Next question is from Kara. Shout out, Kara. I'm reading this word for word for the record. Kara asked, okay, babes, I have to know. Oh, if you could haunt any celebrity for a day, who are you choosing? What harmless chaos would you cause? Rachel said, babes, I would haunt Mormon wives Whitney and steal her headbands because she pisses me off. And then she said, this kills me. Alexa, show Whitney getting kicked off Dancing with the Stars.
For context, okay? This is not a religious dig that she is making. Whitney is an individual from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives TV show. So,
yes.
And she was on Dancing with the Stars.
I'm going to cry. It's so funny.
And she had gotten eliminated from Dancing with the Stars the night before we did this interview.
Which is of hot contention in our house.
I mean, there was screaming, yelling. There was
a lot going on.
It was mass chaos.
It was chaos.
So it was fresh on the brain. But on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Whitney wears, like those they're like those puffy spa headbands people wear to do their makeup. She wears those, but wears them with an outfit kind of thing. And it's like, it's actually like, it's talked about a lot. It's talked about on the show. It's made fun of on the show. It's made fun of online. It's a whole thing. And our girl Rachel likes gossip.
Oh my god.
And I think that really struck a chord.
So funny. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that is who Mormon Wives Whitney is. It's Whitney Levitt from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You can do your own research on that if you haven't seen it.
the more you know. Yeah. Next question is from Caitlin. Shout out. If you could travel to any country in the world for a holiday, where would you go and why? And Rachel said, UK, my old home. Very sweet. I would love to take her to the UK. It'd be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple UK spirits.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
A lot, actually.
Next question is also from Caitlin. They ask, what is your favorite time of year? And Rachel said, fall. I love the leaves. Me too. I also like the leaves.
Same.
Wish we had more fall.
Yeah.
It's cold now.
We get like 2 weeks of fall here and then it's over.
Well,
It's cute while it lasts, you know?
Next question is also from Caitlin. Do you enjoy watching movies? If so, which is your favorite one? Rachel said, I do. I love movies about love and thrillers. They love the love movies.
Oh, I know. Which is like too bad because I never watch them. So they don't get to watch them that much.
Who was the one who requested that we watched The Notebook?
I think it was Cheryl.
Was it Cheryl?
Yeah.
She really wanted to watch The Notebook.
Yeah, and Destiny was being really inappropriate the entire time and like she couldn't hear the movie. So because Destiny.
Poor Cheryl.
Rachel is this weird middle ground between Cheryl and Destiny. Like they're all friends, but like the difference between Cheryl and Destiny is very large. And Rachel is somewhere in the middle of it.
Yes, Destiny, if you don't know, is like this.
She's been Spirit of the
incredibly-
Week.
She has.
She's been Spirit of the Week.
Incredibly outgoing, very rambunctious,
And foul.
funny, loud,
And foul.
and yes.
And
and-
raunchy.
And Rachel is much more shy and reserved.
Cheryl is more shy and reserved.
Cheryl, is that what I said?
No, you said Rachel. Rachel's
my
not
God, I'm
shy or
sorry.
reserved.
Yes, Cheryl is more shy and reserved, and then Rachel kind of skirts this middle ground
Yeah.
quite effectively. might I
Yeah,
add.
she does. It's an art.
Next question is also from Caitlin. If you could meet any famous person in the world, living or not, who would it be and why? Rachel said, probably Elvis. He seemed like a fun guy.
So random.
But what a good answer. He probably is a fun
So
guy.
Random.
I mean, come on. Next question is from Lucky. Shout out to Lucky. Where was your favorite place to party? And Rachel said, usually in alleyways and friends' basements.
It's a classic.
It's literally exactly what I said.
Really?
Exactly. I
It
was
is a
like,
classic.
friends' basements. Like that is
Yeah.
the epitome of like young
Yeah.
party is a friend's
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
Alleyways though, that one threw me.
That is not a classic.
That one threw me.
But it, you know,
Yeah, could be. Next question is from Lucky. What is your favorite offering? And Rachel said, I like booze mostly and things to bet, like money and makeup.
betting with makeup is an interesting concept I've not heard before.
Well, I guess. I mean, we've heard from the other girls in the girl gang, like they like the makeup.
They do like the makeup. That's true.
And Rachel is a betting woman.
That's
Very
that
successfully at
is
that.
true.
Next question is also from Lucky. What's your favorite music? Rachel said, I like rock and rap. Great options.
Excellent taste.
Love it. Next question is from Adriana. Shout out Adriana.
And shout out Owen, Adriana's son, who was Rachel's very first fan when he was 2 years old.
Yes.
He has sent Rachel a picture in the mail that is actually hanging on our bulletin board over there.
It's
for
right over
her.
there.
He was the first ever viewer who like really zoned in on Rachel and just loved her. So I'm sure Owen is watching this. Shout out Owen.
Shout
Rachel
out
loves you.
And
Had to do that.
by the way, I do believe Rachel has said how much she enjoys Owen.
Yes, she has commented on it before.
Yes.
Yes. She said like, hi Owen
Hi,
on
Owen.
Spirit Box before. It's cute.
So hi Owen. The question is, what is your favorite designer handbag if you could pick one? Rachel said, I like black bags, like Chanel.
Oh,
Oh,
she fancy, huh?
classy taste. Is it bad? Like I didn't even know like what a brand of a fancy bag would be. I barely know. I was like Michael Kors. Like, does that count?
Does that count?
I don't know.
He's like TJ Maxx.
A TJ Maxx. I would just start naming brands of like fashion brands that I know.
And you
like,
just hope they make bags.
like what about Gucci?
There you go. Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, Coach bags.
That'll work.
I know Coach
Yeah.
bags.
Yeah. You're doing a great job, sweetie.
That's about the most I got. Did great. Next question is once again from Adriana and Owen. Let's say and Owen. What is your favorite holiday and why? Rachel said, I like Christmas. The decorations are the best. Absolutely agree.
We're decorating this weekend.
We are. Next question is from Kim. What used to be a go-to outfit when you liked to go out? And Rachel said, a tight black dress and combat boots.
Sheesh.
Woo!
Love that.
Combat boots, girly, respect. Next question is from Kim. What is the best party song? The song was LMFAO, Shots. I mean, she's
We
not
should
wrong.
have given context. I didn't say this earlier. Rachel is also very interesting because she's also a recent inhabitation situation.
Very recent.
Yes, like past in the 2000s, like in the 2000s. So yeah. Yeah. So she has very similar. She was born
98.
yeah, in 98. And so she has very modern sense of humor, modern taste, music, the whole.
Yeah, we
it's
talked
very
about we
interesting.
bonded over High School Musical.
We did. She's the only one that'll talk to us about it. The rest of them trash High School Musical.
She loved
And it's
it.
really disappointing. So
Mad respect.
yes. Rachel will back me up on that.
Next question is from Kim. If you could invite two people to go out and party with you, why and what type of party would you take them to? And Rachel said, Terry and Destiny to the club.
To the club. Whoa. Wow.
Wow.
Telepathy.
It's almost like we live together.
We are the same.
Telepathy.
That was weird. Ew. I kind of hate that just happened.
You love it. Admit it.
Not really.
Next question is from Danny. Rachel, if you got to host a blowout party, where would you have it? Who would you invite? And most importantly, what would you wear? Excellent question. Rachel said, I would rent out a street in England and invite everybody. I'd wear a crown for party host queen. And then I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then she added in maybe a cape. I said cape for sure. The crown is a great choice, but I think the cape is really puts it over the top.
We should get her a party host cape.
And a crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question is from Lucky. What's the latest tea around you and your friends?
Oh, God.
And Rachel said, I would say we're still talking about funny things for messing with you all at next party. We have to play with Morgan next week.
Sorry, Morgan.
Sorry, Morgan.
We love you.
Our friend Morgan is coming next week, and she is going to be the target, I think.
Apparently,
Apparently.
according to Rachel's gossip.
Rachel is...
Stay tuned soon because I'm sure there will be information about
we'll
that
have,
for
we'll
you.
have a follow-up of this
Yeah.
in a week. Next question is from Danny. Rachel, what was your favorite part about Mod Madness? What did you think of meeting the mods and spirits we brought with us? Would you have us over again? And Rachel said, I loved that everyone was loud and crazy and doing stupid things and not embarrassed about it. I loved everyone.
You did do some stupid things.
So sweet. Next question is from Jenny. If you had to pick two spirits to go do shady shit with, who would you pick?
Excellent Rachel question.
Excellent Rachel question.
Very on brand.
And a quite anticipated answer.
Yes.
Terry and Destiny. And then she said they wouldn't get caught. Quite true.
Quite true.
Quite true.
Destiny's gotten caught a couple times in our house, though. She's not always that smooth.
she's a little rough around the edges, so I think her methods probably aren't as precise. She's a little bit
Sometimes
more.
she's proud of what it does wrong and wants credit.
She's kind of more like a blunt force coming at you.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing
No.
at all. Just it's her style
Yeah.
for sure. Next question is from Jenny. What spirit that you live with is most likely to plan a party? And Rachel said, Omi. She is in charge of that. Which now apparently we know that they have jobs. Omi is the party planning committee.
Are we surprised?
No, not in the slightest. Not even a little. Next question is also from Jenny. Who was the most chaotic spirit during Mod Madness? Rachel said, Omi.
Oh,
It was funny.
it was not funny.
Once again, to no one's surprise.
It was not funny. Trying to teach people how to use Spirit Box, and Omi is just repeatedly coming on.
Causing issues.
Yes.
Next question is from Jenny. What's one piece of advice you have for people who need help with the spirit box? Rachel said, it's not a big deal if you miss stuff. Keep going. If it's important, we'll go back. Great advice. Great advice. Keep trying. Keep going. Don't get frustrated. Just keep
If
moving
you get
forward.
flustered, your session's over. If you keep going, you might bounce back.
Yeah.
You won't know unless you try.
And we'll try. Next question is from Lucky. What is your favorite prank you ever pulled off? Rachel said, did you see what she said?
No.
Oh.
I live react to these.
We used to move to face where Taylor was sitting without her seeing. It made her extra crazy.
No, oh my God, that was nuts. I would sit in here and it drove me bonkers. I mean, I had to be like, anywhere I would sit in the room, Terry and Rachel would rotate to face where I was sitting. But
And it was very small. It'd be like,
but I could never catch them. And I was like starting to lose it because I would like sit there and then I would purposely move over there and then I move over there and they would do it, but I could never catch them actually doing it. And then I got all paranoid and I was like, maybe I'm just making this up. So I started taking pictures of them. I'd put up a tripod so that the camera was always in the same spot with the same shadow at the same angle and I wouldn't move the tripod. And I would take pictures of like where they were when I walked in the room, where they were at the end of the night, where they were in the middle of the night. And sure enough, they were moving because those pictures, they're all different. But it drove me crazy because I never caught them, not once. It went on for a while. It was like a month long.
it went on for a long time.
It was like a month-long event. And I was just like, I was like, I just want to see it happen. Never got them.
Well, she did say it made her extra crazy. And
It did make me crazy. No, she's
was
right about
correct.
that because I was just, I didn't know if I was seeing so. I mean, yeah. Continue.
Love it. This is how spirits mess with us in our house. You watch movies and you're like, stuff is flying off shelves. No, they're
No.
just moving to slowly make you go insane.
I'm glad that saga is over.
So funny.
I'm glad that saga
You
is
better
over.
watch yourself. They might start doing it again.
No, they will not start doing it again.
Last question is from Lucky. Who is your favorite, like bestie, in the house? And Rachel said, Cheryl. I owe it to her that I'm here. Very sweet.
Man, George finished his thing up with like this like sweet down to earth statement. Rachel did the same thing.
It's great.
George and Rachel are on the same page. We love that.
Love it. I asked Rachel, do you have any final words? She said, no. Have a great Thanksgiving. Bye, everyone.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
On that note, so some quick updates. We are going to be taking what is this? Episode 26, I think.
Oh, I have no clue at this point in time.
I think this is episode 26. But we are, for the first time ever, taking a 1-week break.
Crazy.
Can you believe it?
Can't believe it.
Because it's Thanksgiving next weekend. We are investigating multiple locations across multiple states, and we are just not going to be able to record, plus also have Thanksgiving and family and life.
Yeah.
So, take the week, enjoy time with your family. Sorry that there's no episode, but if you haven't caught up on previous videos, there's tons of new things out. Go check out George's stuff. George and Ken over at Dead Air Full Spectrum.
They have so much
stuff
wealth
with
of videos and information.
Amazing
with
guests.
fascinating people.
Just they're great.
They're
So
incredible.
check that stuff out. Enjoy your week. We are also going to be canceling our members only live for Friday. We're just going to take a week off. I have never taken an actual week off. It's not even a week. It's like 3 days. It's like 3 days off. But we're doing it. So we hope you enjoy your holidays. Enjoy your family. We hope you have a wonderful time. If you don't have anything to do on Thanksgiving, we do have something going on for you. I will not be there, but Kim was kind enough to host an event on Discord for like practicing spirit box tips and tricks, just like a practice night on Thanksgiving, so that anybody who doesn't have something to do can still enjoy with other people in the community. So shout out to Kim for being willing to do that. That is amazing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? It was so nice. So yeah. Other than that, I think that's all I got.
That's about it.
Oh, forgot about this. We started another podcast.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, just premiered yesterday. We have a new podcast. Not we. Me and Kiwi and Carly have a new podcast called Folklore Gets Fade. It is a 100% fairy folklore podcast. So if you are into the fae, definitely check that out.
Check it out.
Will release every other Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be doing live premieres at that time as well. So first episode is out. Next one to come. But if you haven't seen it already, would love for you to check that out as well.
So there you go.
Now I'm done.
Okay. Well, I think that about covers it for us.
Yeah, we're good.
We hope you all have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. We will see you in 2 weeks.
It's so weird.
That's so crazy.
I kind of hate it, but we'll see you in 2 weeks unless I
Yes.
change my mind and I'm like, we need to do something. We will see you in 2 weeks.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
And if you hear from me saying, oh, never mind, we're not going to cancel, you tell me, no, it's canceled. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyway, have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.